Okay, kids, are we ready? Oh. Happy birthday, dear Aries. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Sawadee Krupp. I'm Steven, and this is my video log, The Hwy American. It's about life, family, living, exploring, creating, fixing, and building. Brought to you initially from Thailand, and now the United States, where I'm originally from, and now located with my family. Here you'll get Thai American perspectives, insights, experiences, opinions, advice, and other unique content about both of my home countries, Thailand and the USA. This is an addition to some music, including both original compositions and covered renditions of songs that inspired me within a passion which I hope to relate to the world through this vlog. If you like what you see and hear here, be sure to give me likes, comments, and subscribe so as to not miss any updates. Khop kun krap. Howdy. Hey y'all. Well, that's typically how people say hi here in Southwest Colorado. In a recent update, mentioned we were headed back to the southwest part of the United States, specifically in Southwest Colorado, and here we are driving through a pass between South Fork and Pagosa Springs, a really beautiful mountain pass, and this is about early April of this year, and it is indeed a lovely drive during the spring and summer. I wouldn't necessarily want to do this drive in the winter, unless I had a 4x4 or chains on my tires. But anyway, once you get to Pagosa Springs, the highway levels off for the most part here, Highway 160. And this is my first time actually, what you're seeing, visiting Pagosa. I've known about Pagosa Springs and wanted to come here many times. I almost moved here for work in the past. But that didn't quite pan out. So this is what you're seeing is my first impression of Pagosa Springs. Like I said, early April 2022, and as you can see, it's already starting to look like spring. And Pagosa Springs is this mountain town, brick and mortar buildings, and one of its main attractions is the San Juan River, which flows through here. And there's a lot of hot springs off of the river in town itself, which I have yet to visit, which I'll do in the future. So we spent a few hours here, just kind of checking things out, because wasn't sure when we were going to be back this way. It's not too far from where we're ultimately going, but like I said, the San Juan River is one of the main attraction points, and there's several points you can access the river. Here's one site here to access the San Juan River where there's like a hippie hot springs. We didn't get to try it yet, but that'll be something I'll have to do in the future for sure. But in the spring already, we see a lot of people already. We're starting to visit this place. I mean, it's usually bustling during the spring and summers with whitewater rafting and people coming to check out the hot springs. But we just came here to look at the view here of the San Juan River in downtown Pagosa Springs. And there's a little parking lot here, and you can access it by the map if you just go back. And another park we visited in Pagosa Springs over there is here, River Center Park, and it's also on the San Juan River, just to the northeast of downtown. And there's like little trails. People come there to walk their dogs. You can access the river, put your feet in the river. Is something I always like to do at all of these rivers. And the rivers are pretty cold. You got to remember that this is glacial melt. So while it's not exactly freezing, as you can see the water flowing, it is freezing in the sense that, man, it's cold. But it's good, especially if you like to do Wim Hofing, which is something I think everyone should do more of. But even just for dipping your feet or hands in the cold river, it's definitely worthwhile. But San Juan River, like I said, a lot of people come here to recreate, and that means whitewater rafting, inner tubing, mostly in the summer, as well as fishing. So the next place we visited in Pagosa Springs here is Lake Pagosa. Just wanted to see it. I mean, nothing special. A lot of the access is private, but there are a few public access points to the lake. And ultimately, we made our way west to the city of Durango. Here we are back in Durango, which you might hear or read that it's a very touristy town. You know, in the winter, a lot of ski tourists come from all over to go access nearby ski resorts, and in the summer they come to go recreate on the river. And that's the Hermosa River that goes through here, but we'll get to that in a bit. And that might turn a lot of people off, like, oh, it's a touristy town, I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way if I hadn't reason to come here, just on that basis alone, but you'd be missing out. So here's a viewpoint looking over Durango, and it's from Fort Lewis College, which is nicknamed Campus in the Sky, something we'll talk about later in the future. But you can see the entire city of Durango and Animas to the north.
That goes up. There's some lots up above, but they're not built on. There's a little.
So we did check into a hotel, but one of the first things we obviously had to do in Durango is find a place to stay.
Plenty of room for the car.
And here's one of the first places we looked at. It was actually a condo with a garage. Really nice, actually, especially for the price. It was really affordable. It was like $1,200, $300. That might sound like a lot. That's U.S. dollars to some people, but it's very cheap for Durango, especially for this particular setup. You know, it comes with a 1.5 bathroom. It had, you know, your laundry room and a, you know, 2-bedroom apartment. We were really feeling it when we first looked at this place. You know, it was just enough, and it was within our budget, because it's really hard to find something at this price range within Durango itself. You know, most things like this or smaller are, you know, up to $2,000 a month. Because, like I said, Durango is a pretty, I don't want to say touristy, but it's definitely a well-off city, and so the cost of living is very expensive relative to other places. But ultimately, we definitely didn't move into this place. It's kind of I would say, I don't want to call it a scam, but what a lot of real estate agents do here is they'll put something on the market, and then and especially if it's a good property like this, a good rent or a good buy, a lot of people will be interested in it because it's you know, affordable housing, and it's nice, and it's in a nice location. But what they do is they get you to apply to stay there, and you have to pay a non-refundable application fee. And so, long short of it, we didn't even waste our money applying because of certain lease terms that wouldn't have been favorable. And here's another place which was also very affordable, but it was north of the city of Durango, about 10-15 minutes outside of town. And we could have moved in here as well. This was only like $1,200, $1,300 for also a 2-bedroom apartment, a condo. So not necessarily apartment in the sense like in Asia where there's like a middleman that controls all the rooms. These are all privately owned here. And so this was a nice setup as well. Yeah, very spacious, more spacious even than the previous one. As you can see, nature, surrounded by nature. However, due to its location and the rising cost of fuel, even 15 minutes is not that far, but I definitely didn't want to, you know, even though we would have saved a lot by living here for $1,300-$1,400 a month, we would have spent at least $400 or $500 a month in fuel to be commuting every day, and not to mention all the time back and forth to town. So at least 30 to 40 minutes a day of commute time, plus all the extra fuel costs. And I didn't necessarily think that was going to be convenient. We wanted to be in town. So, but anyway, just to give you an idea, you know, this is like, we looked at several places and wanted to share with you what we were able to find in that price range. And keep in mind, if you look now or in the future, maybe more, maybe less, but probably going to be more to find places like this. But you got to keep your eye out. There's a huge demand for housing in Durango. So anytime something comes up like this, it doesn't last long.
Yeah. Ready? Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Wait. Ah, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aries. Happy birthday to you. Okay, make a wish. Blow. Okay. Oh, very good. Yummy, yummy, yummy cake time. Look at the train. Ooh, really, really good.
「
So this is another famous attraction in Durango, the Durango-Silverton Railway. Today it's just taken by tourists. It's apparently pretty expensive. I'll eventually take it someday, one of those bucket list things. But in the past, Durango was a mining town, a mining mountain town. Silver mining and gold mining in the La Plata Mountains. And so they had a railway here, when the town was founded more than 100 plus years ago. In the 1880s, 1890s, a lot of the passenger trains came through here, all the way from Denver, from Hermosa, from New Mexico, Farmington, and a lot of it was all surrounded about the mining industry, around post World War II.
Yeah, on train tracks.
That ended, and skiing came in and took over. So tourism, at least in the winter, of course, whitewater rafting and other types of mountain recreation in the summer.
There's the bus, trolley.
Ooh. หนึ่งอันเลย อยู่ในเต็มบ้านตรงนั้นมีอีกไหมดูนี่มั้ยโอ้ได้เจอบ้างโอ้มาเก็บไข่ในนี้ก่อนโอ้เจอในนั้นไปเก็บไข่เลย then 3 already 1 2 3มีอีกไหมไม่ดูแถวนี้มีไหมในนี้มีไหมแถวนี้มีไหมOh, you found it. Okay, let's keep looking for him. Oh,มาเก็บกันอีก 5 already.โอ้เจออีกตัวหนึ่งเลยมาใน6แล้ว
ตรงนั้นอีก ตรงนี้ก่อน โอเค
ในห้องน้ำมีอีกไหมเดี๋ยวไปดูโอ้
ทำไมหาเก่งจังเลย
โอ้
เจอแล้วด้วย
มี
อยู่นี่ไงนะ
โอ้ไหน
เจอ
โอ้โอเค put it in the basket มีอีกไหมดูให้ดีดูดีๆนะโอ้ let me see โอ้โอเคตรงนี้โอ้โอเค
So aside from Aries' birthday and Easter, welcoming us to Durango was what they have called here spring cleanup, and it's when all the residents just get rid of all the stuff that they want to throw away, and it's a lot of great stuff that just put out onto the street, including usable materials. Some of it's just raw, like leaves and trees and branches and stuff. But other times you get a lot of pipes, a lot of lumber, which is very expensive now. And so I turned our minivan into a little cargo van and just started collecting because I know I could utilize and upcycle a lot of this for various projects coming soon.
Okay, kids, are we ready? Oh.
So indeed, Durango welcomed us with a lot of gifts to utilize our time wisely here this spring and summer as we transition into a new chapter of our lives. And so I'll keep you all updated on some of these projects that I'm already working on. It's just haven't had a chance to update. And thanks for listening and tuning in. And until next time, bye. If you like what you see and hear here, be sure to give me likes, comments, and subscribe so as to not miss any updates. Khop kun krap.